I'm good.
I'm a business manager in one of our cancer divisions. Yeah, yeah. So I've been at Children's for 6.5 years or so. So I graduated from here. I took lessons with Minami, actually. Yeah, 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 yeah. So I graduated from here in 2018, and I've just been working at Children's ever since. Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, right. Yeah. I know, yeah, yeah. Right, no, because I'm from Milwaukee originally. So I went here and then just kind of stuck around. They gave me the most money, actually. So it was actually really funny. I auditioned for like a performing arts grant. I didn't want to like do music like full time or anything like that. So I auditioned and they were like, hey, we'll give you a lot more money if you decide to major in music. And I was like, oh. But it was the money was too like nice to turn down. So I was like, I guess I'm just gonna stick it out and try to do this, and I ended up doing okay, I guess. But like, yeah, and then health services, so I doubled. Yeah, 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 yeah. So I get to do stuff like this. Obviously, KSO is kind of nice because I still get to play, and then I just
Make
work
it really
full-time. So
heavy
it's
in
pretty
the
nice.
first
Yeah,
year,
it worked out
and
really
then
well.
you kind of
I
start
never in a million years would
doing
have thought I
more
would have
work
been,
and
doing this kind of stuff.
So you have
still
less
stuff.
school stuff involved.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
but we'll see. I read so much all the time.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I feel like if
Yeah.
I read one more word, my
Yeah,
brain.
yeah. So, yeah. I also got lucky too. A lot of my friends are still in town too from college, so it's been fun. It's been good. Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. The benefits are nice, so I can't complain about that. Yeah. Yeah. Are you from Cincinnati? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Of course.
Okay. I have some family that lives in Arlington Heights. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe Esperanto too.
Okay. Including college is crazy. Think about.
I was like, I want to be Esperanto too. Stop making me sing so high.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I get that, like,
Yeah, she is. Oh, do you play here a lot? Yeah.
area.
Yeah, yeah,
To be
yeah.
one of the
Yeah,
other
uh-huh.
tenants,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Or you already have 2 tenants?
Yes, yeah. It's really pretty. Yeah. Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah. 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 Well, I guess compared to Chicago, probably.
Yeah. That could work pretty well.
Yeah. Right.
You should. I am. Unfortunately, I'm really busy with law
Yeah,
school
every
and
time I go
I'm
to
going
New York,
away
it's
for
just
2
like,
months.
I have to travel 30 minutes to travel.
So if you try to do it anytime soon,
Because you're on the subway
I
and
might
then it
not
just
be
takes
able
forever
to.
for all the
But I
stops
could
and
try my
whatnot, so.
best. Just depending on what the timeline is.
But I love New York.
And then
so.
obviously, like, come July, August, when I get back, probably could do it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's really overwhelming. Like the first time I was there, I got out of Penn Station, and that was my first time ever. Well, I've been there when I was 3. That doesn't really count though. But I stepped out and was very overwhelmed by the amount of people and just like the buildings just itself are just so big. I'm used to Cincinnati downtown, which is like so it's kind of tiny. Yeah. 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 Yeah, for sure. So Milwaukee and Cincinnati are very similar. in a lot of ways. Yeah,
Test. It's not working.
the art scene is not as
Hello?
big
Oh, it's working.
from what I hear. So Richard is actually from Milwaukee. We actually went to the same high school. It's kind of funny. Yeah. But he was saying it's so much better here than because Milwaukee's. I don't know Milwaukee at all actually. I feel like because all my adult stuff has been done down here. Yeah. My parents are still there. My brother moved back, but I just go visit for holidays. So.
Sure. No worries.
Good evening. And welcome. My name is John O'Keefe, and I am the director of the Brueggeman Center here at Xavier University. I would like to welcome you to our evening of prayer and lament, which we're lovingly calling Loving Creation, a prayer service of longing, lament, and reconnection. Thank you so much for making time in your evening for joining us. We live in a culture that has lost the ability to lament. Tonight, we hope to reclaim it, or at least to try to do so. On the one hand, lamentation is a form of public grief. It is a way to give concrete expression to our collective experience of loss. When we grieve together as a community, we feel less alone and less isolated. Yet lamentation is also different from grief. To lament is to enter into a paradoxical space where we hold in our hearts both the terrible weight of a massive loss and the urgent hopes for God's deliverance. Unlike naked grief, where emotional pain threatens to overwhelm us to the point of despair, out of the depths of lament comes an anguished cry for something other than what is. For many of us, and I suspect this is true for many of us here this evening, the environmental losses unfolding around us descend upon us with soul-crushing force, pushing us to the very limits of our ability to endure. We know that deep in our hearts that there are no easy fixes, and the obstacles can seem insurmountable. Calls to be optimistic ring hollow and empty in the face of what we know to be true. It can feel at times that all is lost. As the author of the Book of Lamentations wrote long ago, "At all of this I weep. My eyes run with tears. Far from me are all who could console me, any who might revive me." Yet lament does not rest in suffering. Lamentation offers us a way forward to pass beyond the pain into a life lived in deeper harmony with God and with the world. In lament, we name our participation in the evil unfolding around us, but at the same time, we beg God to deliver us, despite our weakness and complicity, into a renewed way of life. As we begin this evening, and I invite you to try to find within you this lost spirit of lamentation, to let it penetrate your heart for the next hour, and to allow this experience to work its transforming power. Before we begin, I would like to take a moment to thank our planning team, Tim Severin, Rebecca Whiteley, Megan Sutman, and Laurie Roche. I would also like to thank the Embracing God's Creation series, Cincinnati Jesuit Works, and the Episcopal Diocese Catechism of Place for co-sponsoring this event with the Brueggeman Center. Finally, please allow me to thank in advance our musicians for sharing their talents with us. Let us begin in silence and meditative attention to our musicians.
A reading from Isaac the Syrian. And what is a merciful heart? It is the heart's burning for the sake of the entire creation, for humanity, for birds, for animals, for demons, and for every created thing. By the recollection and sight of them, the eyes of the merciful person pour forth abundant tears from the strong and vehement mercy which grips their heart. From their great compassion, their heart is humbled, and they cannot bear to hear or see any injury or slight sorrow in creation. For this reason, they continually offer up tearful prayer, even for irrational beasts, for the enemies of the truth and for those who harm them, that they be protected and receive mercy. And in like manner, they even pray for the family of reptiles, because of the great compassion that burns in their heart without measure in the likeness of God.
A reading from Psalm 104. Bless the Lord, O my soul. O my God, you are very great. You make springs gush forth in the valleys. They flow between the hills, giving drink to every wild animal. The wild asses quench their thirst. By the streams, the birds of the air have their habitation. They sing among the branches. From your lofty abode, you water the mountains. The earth is satisfied with the fruit of your work. You cause the grass to grow for the cattle and plants for people to cultivate. You bring forth food from the earth and wine to gladden the human heart, oil to make the face shine, and bread to strengthen the human heart. The trees of the field are watered abundantly, the cedars of Lebanon that you planted. In them the birds build their nests. The stork has its home in the fir trees. The high mountains are for the wild goats. The rocks are a refuge for the hyrax. O God, how manifold are your works. In wisdom you have made them all. The earth is full of your creatures. There is the sea, great and wide. Creeping things innumerable are there. Living things, both small and great. I will sing praise to my God while I have being. May my meditation be pleasing to God.
Some years ago, my friend Doug Christie came to Creighton University, where I served for many years as a professor of theology. During his visit, Christie gave a lecture that I have never forgotten, and that in many ways is ultimately responsible for the work I'm doing with ecological grief here at Xavier. Christie's basic argument was that our inability to grieve, or our inability to respond in a meaningful way to the ecological losses unfolding around us can be traced, at least in part, to a failure to grieve. This failure to grieve can push us in many unhealthful directions. For some of us, failure to grieve ends in simmering anger directed at those people who are doing horrible things to the world. This kind of subterranean volcanic rage gradually but surely erodes our souls, weakening our ability to respond to the needs of our time with grace and with courage. Alternatively, failure to grieve can push us toward numbing out, disengagement. In the face of so much loss, we can become like the walking dead, moving zombie-like through the world, barely alive, no longer human. As an antidote to these two forms of soul sickness, some in our culture recommend being more optimistic and focusing on what is going well. But for many of us, the attempt to put on an optimistic smile in the face of what is happening seems like the worst form of pretense. I recently saw a comic on Facebook illustrating two dinosaurs standing side by side. One had an arm around the other, or a wing or something. And they were witnessing a world-destroying asteroid descending toward the surface of the Earth. And one of the dinosaurs looked at the other and said, "It probably won't be that bad." The consoling dinosaur's optimism, however, did not rescue the race of dinosaurs from their fate. And empty optimism alone will not rescue us either. So instead of proposing that we adopt a more cheery disposition, Christie recommends spiritual conversion. And the path to that conversion, he suggests, passes necessarily through grief and lamentation. To make his case, Christie proposes that we look to the traditions of the ancient Christian monastics. Specifically, he points to an ancient monastic teaching called the gift of tears. According to the monks, tears can be a gateway to a softened heart. Conceived in this way, tears are not a stage to live through on the way back to optimism, but a divine gift that breaks us open to the mystery of the cross, where suffering and redemption stand in paradoxical and irreducible relationship. The monks believe that the gift of tears places us in solidarity with the whole creation and creates within us a deep well of compassion that mirrors the inexhaustible compassion of God. Although the reading we just heard from St. Isaac the Syrian dates from the 7th century, it seems to reach out across the ages to challenge our undirected rage and to prod us out of our zombie-like numbness by inviting us into deep and abiding love for all of creation and to cultivating compassion for those who are stuck in the bondage of disconnection. Let's listen to some of Isaac again. And what is the merciful heart? It is the heart's burning for the sake of the entire creation, for humanity, for the birds, for animals, even for demons, for every created thing. By the recollection and sight of them, in the eyes of the merciful person, pour forth abundant tears from the strong and vehement mercy which grips their heart. From their great compassion, their heart is humbled, and they cannot bear to hear or see any injury or slight sorrow in creation. For this reason, they continually offer up tearful prayer because of the great compassion that burns in their heart without measure in the likeness of God. So what would happen, I wonder, if we actually lived into this mystery and allowed our tears of lamentation to prepare our hearts for greater mercy and greater compassion? What would happen if we wept compassionate tears for those we perceive to be undermining our future? What if our hearts were full of mercy for those lost in their own narcissistic pain? What if we moved through the world filled with compassion and grace instead of empty despondency? St. Isaac tells us exactly what would happen. We would move through the world in the likeness of God. So I invite us this evening not to be afraid of the sorrow that we feel and the desire to offer our prayers of lamentation. These are holy desires, and if we trust this wisdom coming to us from the past, these desires may lead us to a more sustainable future. In recognition that we are all called to this great work of conversion, I would like to now invite everyone to join us in a ritual of reconnection called the Bowl of Tears. This reflection comes from the author and environmental activist Joanna Macy and Molly Brown. During the ritual, we will have music and a display of pictures, writings which were created by Bellarmine Chapel sustainability interns, Genevieve Jacobs and Maggie Keenan. To participate, please come forward two at a time and kneel or bow before the two bowls of water at the altar. Put your hands into the water and let it trickle from your fingers, representing tears. And I invite you to take your time. Experience the grief that God feels for all that has been destroyed or lost, and silently express your own lament for the suffering of creation, especially all that has been harmed by human interference, ignorance, and selfishness. With this ritual, we honor the pain and sense of hopelessness we sometimes feel, and we believe that lament will help us to see with new eyes. Afterwards, please take a taper from one of the baskets nearby, light it at one of the large candles beside the altar, and place it in the bowl of sand. You may want to offer a brief prayer, seeking God's help and sensing your own connection with creation and responsibility for it. As we are lighting the candles, as individuals begin lighting their candles, others may come forward to the bowl of tears. And once everyone who participates or wants to participate has done so, we will sit in silent meditation. I close with the words of poet Adrienne Rich. My heart is moved by all I cannot save. So much has been destroyed. I have cast my lot with those who, age after age, perversely, with no extraordinary power, reconstitute the world.
For devastating the forests, suffocating the lungs of the world.
Hold us accountable for our role and deliver us, O God.
For filling the air with smoke and pollution, choking the breath of all who share this earth.
Hold us accountable for our role and deliver us, O God.
For turning fertile lands into barren deserts, ignoring the cries of a thirsty soil.
Hold us accountable for our role and deliver us, O God.
For reducing global biodiversity, squandering the abundance of animal and plant life across every habitat.
Hold us accountable for our role and deliver us, O God.
For hoarding the fruits of your creation, letting waste pile high as others go hungry.
Father, show us your mercy and turn our hearts to you.
For carving into the earth's depths, extracting its riches while leaving scars that will never heal.
Father, show us your mercy and turn our hearts to you.
For staining clean rivers and oceans, letting them carry death instead of life.
Father, show us your mercy and turn our hearts to you.
For disrupting the climate systems, destabilizing the foundations of our common home.
Father, show us your mercy and turn our hearts to you.
That we may trust in your presence, guiding us as we mend what we have broken.
Jesus, walk with us as we restore your creation.
That we may learn to walk lightly upon the earth, living as caretakers, not conquerors.
Jesus, walk with us as we restore your creation.
That we may sow seeds of hope and healing, nurturing the beauty of your creation for generations to come.
Jesus, walk with us as we restore your creation.
Creator, you made the heavens and the earth and called it good. Help us to protect what you have entrusted to us.
Renew us, O Lord, and renew the face of the earth.
great wonder, ours to surrender. Trust for the children tomorrow will bear. We who in danger, who create hunger, agents of death for all creatures that live. We who would foster clouds of disaster, God of our planet, forestall and forgive. Let there be greening, birth from the burning, water that blesses and air that is sweet. Health in God's garden, hope in God's children, regeneration that peace will complete. God of all living, God of all loving, God of the seedling, the snow and the sun, teach us, deflect us, Christ reconnect us, using us gently and making us one. Restless is the heart until it comes to rest in you. All the earth shall remember and return to our God. Restless is the heart until it comes to rest in you. All the earth shall remember and return to our God.
As we approach the season of Lent, let us, through attention, holy grief, repentance, resistance, and a defiant Eucharistic hope, begin to learn what it means to be disciples, to follow Christ in this moment, the only moment available to us. Weep, heal, remember, repent. Open your heart to God's beautiful, ravaged earth. Bind the wounds, be poured out, be changed into fire. Live in God's dream. We have no maps for our journey, no cut and dry blueprint, no easy answers, but we have this light. May we bravely carry within us the presence of the one who transforms death into life, the one who makes all things new. A new world is being born, and the earth herself groans in birth pains and anticipation. Listen. Keep vigil at the burning margins. Love is freeing the world from every form of domination. We are invited to help. Lord, grant us the vision and the courage. Amen.
Thank you all again for making time in your evening to join us. We have some handouts in the back, and feel free to sit in silence for a while if you would like to. If not, again, thank you so much, and thank you to our wonderful musicians.